Welcome back to the channel where we explore the most iconic, luxurious, and unforgettable cars from past to present. If you're passionate about automotive history, classic design, and the vehicles that defined entire eras, you're in the right place. Today, we're diving into one of the most legendary luxury sedans ever built, a car that symbolized power, elegance, and unmatched engineering. This is the 1972 Mercedes 600. When you think about the most exclusive cars of the 20th century, the Mercedes 600 sits at the very top. Nicknamed the Grosser Mercedes, this car wasn't just transportation, it was a statement. It was a car reserved for heads of state, royalty, celebrities, and people of extreme influence. From popes to dictators to movie stars, the 600 was the ultimate symbol of status in the 1960s and 1970s. And the 1972 model represented the peak of this incredible machine's presence. Let's start with the design. At first glance, the 1972 Mercedes 600 is massive. Long, imposing, and commanding on the road, it measures over 18 feet in its standard wheelbase and even longer in the Pullman version. The styling is classic Mercedes of the era. Sharp edges, a tall upright grille with the three-pointed star proudly displayed, and chrome accents that perfectly balance elegance and authority. It wasn't flashy in the way American luxury cars of the time were. Instead, the 600 projected a quieter, more dignified power, a car that didn't need to shout to prove its dominance. Step inside, and you're greeted by an interior that set new standards for luxury in its time. Every surface was covered in the finest materials, rich wood veneers, thick leather upholstery, and chrome details. The seats were plush and spacious, with incredible attention to comfort, whether you were in the driver's seat or being chauffeured in the rear. In fact, most owners of the Mercedes 600 were passengers, not drivers. This was the kind of car you were driven in, not the kind you drove yourself, unless you were someone like John Lennon, who famously owned one. The rear compartment in particular was designed as an oasis of comfort and privacy. Reclining seats, fold-out tables, and even optional partitions separated passengers from the driver in the Pullman versions. Everything inside was designed to make travel effortless and supremely comfortable, no matter the distance. But what truly set the Mercedes 600 apart was not just the luxury, but the engineering. Under the hood, the 600 was powered by a massive 6.3-liter V8 engine producing around 250 horsepower. For a car of this size and weight, that level of power was necessary, and it gave the 600 a smooth, commanding presence on the road. It wasn't meant to be a sports car, but for its size, it could move with surprising grace. The engineering marvels didn't stop with the engine. One of the most advanced systems of the Mercedes 600 was its complex hydraulic system. This system powered almost everything in the car: the windows, the seats, the sunroof, even the trunk lid. Unlike most luxury cars that used electric motors, Mercedes chose hydraulics because they were smoother, quieter, and more powerful. The result was an experience unlike anything else. Doors closed with a weighty precision, windows glided up and down silently, and seats adjusted with seamless motion. Of course, this system also became notorious for its complexity, and maintaining it today can be a challenge, but it was part of what made the 600 so revolutionary in its time. Another standout feature was the suspension. The Mercedes 600 used an air suspension system that gave it an incredibly smooth ride, even on rough roads. Combined with excellent sound insulation, the car created an environment that isolated passengers from the outside world. Whether cruising on the Autobahn or navigating city streets, the 600 felt like a moving palace. In 1972, owning a Mercedes 600 was about more than just comfort and technology. It was about image. This was the car of choice for global leaders like Fidel Castro, Idi Amin, and Mao Zedong, but also for Hollywood icons like Elvis Presley and Jack Nicholson. It was both admired and feared, a car that came to represent ultimate authority, whether in politics, entertainment, or wealth. Production numbers were very limited. Between 1963 and 1981, only around 2,700 Mercedes 600s were built, making each one extremely rare. The 1972 model year falls right in the middle of its production run, representing a time when the 600 had fully established itself as the world's most prestigious sedan. Even today, more than 50 years later, the Mercedes 600 remains one of the most collectible and respected cars in the classic luxury market. It's not just because of its rarity, but because of what it stood for, a level of engineering and craftsmanship that few cars have ever matched. Restoring and maintaining a 600 is no easy task, especially with its complicated hydraulic system, but enthusiasts who keep these cars alive know they are preserving an unmatched piece of automotive history. The 1972 Mercedes 600 wasn't just a car, it was a rolling statement of luxury, technology, and influence. It defined what it meant to be at the top of society, and it continues to fascinate collectors and car lovers around the world. Few vehicles have managed to combine elegance, presence, and innovation the way the 600 did, and that's why it remains one of Mercedes-Benz's most iconic creations. So, what do you think of the 1972 Mercedes 600? Is it the ultimate classic luxury car, or do you think another car of its era deserves that crown? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into legendary cars from past and present. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep the passion for cars alive.